Hello everyone, this is Kitty's Glass. We're going to show you today how a Nortel Red Max works on 3 EX-15s from Extreme Oxygen. I purchased these 3 because I was way tired of dealing with tanked oxygen. Currently all the machines are off. You also see them connected via individual cable comes here for your oxygen supply. Off of each machine again into a manifold. The manifold, or Y, whatever you guys call it, goes to the back and right underneath the torch and into the side. Really pretty easy stuff. I purchased these EX-15s from ABR Imagery, and these are considered scratch and dent units, although the only scratch I could ever find was a scratch on one of the stickers here, and I can't even find the thing now, so there it is. Oops. So what I want to show you is how 1 works, how 2 work, and then how 3 work. So let's turn on number 1. Now when the oxygen generators concentrators first turn on, you always want to make sure your oxygen dial's on. That way it doesn't build up too much pressure. And just before you light the flame, that's when you go ahead and turn off the oxygen, hit your propane, then turn your oxygen back on. I'm not going to deal at all with a small torch on the top, just really going to deal with the bottom one. One machine powers the top torch pretty perfectly, so there's real no need for an introduction there. So turning oxygen off, turning on propane a little bit, sparky spark. Okay, so what I'm going to do is keep this on full blast, the best possible lightsaber flame as I can with each generator on. The oxygen dial will always remain on full, and it's just the propane that will be adjusting here and there. That's about all you get with one concentrator. Now keep in mind too, propane's at 5 psi and the oxygen concentrators run at 15 psi. Even though there's 3 of them, that only increases the flow, that does not increase the pressure. So regardless of anything, you'll be stuck with 15 psi. Whether that's good or bad for you, well, that's your problem, not mine. So here comes number 2. Notice when the second one comes on, it takes probably about good 10-15 seconds for it to really start to power up. You can already see the flame getting a little bit bigger. I'll have to adjust the propane a little bit just to ensure that it doesn't flare out. Starting to flare a little bit, so here comes some more propane. And that's pretty much about as good of a lightsaber as I'd want to get with 2 EX-15s connected. There is another machine called the M15. The M15 is built by this guy's brother. It doesn't matter since all these are basically Millennium something or others that are refurbished and whatnot. So there's our second flame with 2 on. And here comes number 3. Start to see the flame reduce a little bit, and then we'll kick up the propane a little more. That's pretty good, I'd say. Now for all of you men out there who always like to question size, we have the exact tool for you. Without catching flame, each brick line is 1 foot, so you be the judge. There's basically your good flame. Let's call that, looks to be about 17 inches long, and the full diameter of the actual Red Max. Now if you're curious how the top flame is, might as well show since all 3 are indeed on, but it's almost a little too powerful. So to turn this off, just reduce the propane down. And I turn off the oxygen most of the way. Fire up the top torch because I'm stupid and don't have a foot pedal. Now you see that there? That's because there's still a little too much pressure for the oxygen. You'll notice when you light it, you have to have your propane a lot gentler and then ease into your oxygen when it's the top one. Because of the 3 units, it's just a little bit more power. So off one goes. Ah, well, let's give that another try. The fun thing about lamp working is you can never find your sparker. Now both are off right now, just until the propane comes on. You want to reduce your propane down to about there when you first turn it on until you get your micro flame. And then you can kind of slowly increase each dial. If you do it all at once, you just get that flare out that you saw before. That's probably about as hot as I would ever use my top one. And again, for the men, you're looking at about 15, 16 inches as well. Looks like I made the measurements wrong the first time. The first time the flame was more closer to about 18 or 19 inches, so I was reading the yardstick backwards. To turn the units off, just knock down your propane, leaving your oxygen on. Still hear the oxygen? Good. If you turn off the oxygen, these things fill up too much, you can cause them to fail prematurely. So leave your oxygen on all the time. You're not going to waste a thing. And then unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. Now if you listen, you'll notice you still hear oxygen a bit. If you turn on the bottom one, you hear it quite a bit more, but it flares out. It takes about a minute for the oxygen to finally go away completely. And the fan, which is just a temporary exhaust fan, is certainly not permanent, but that fan is louder than all three of these EX-15s on at the exact same time. But never fear, that's what house music is for. Hope everybody enjoyed. Take care. Later.